what if your thoughts are not just passing mental events, but biological instructions? Right now, inside your body, invisible conversations are taking place between your brain, your immune system, and every cell you carry. And modern science is beginning to confirm something once dismissed as philosophy. The way you think can influence inflammation, recovery, resilience, even the speed at which you heal. Tonight, we'll explore the emerging science of psychoneuroimmunology, and by the end of this video, you'll understand how specific patterns of thought can either weaken your body or quietly guide it toward restoration. So if you can, put on your headphones, lower the lights, and allow yourself to slow down for a moment. This isn't just information, it's an experience, and the way you listen may shape more than you realize. Wherever you are right now, perhaps resting into the softness of your pillow, or listening to the quiet stillness of the evening, allow yourself to settle into this shared space of discovery. Tonight, we'll explore 100 remarkable truths about how healing begins in the mind. From the microscopic choreography of immune cells responding to emotion, to the vast neural networks carrying signals of calm throughout the body, to the quiet revolution unfolding in research laboratories around the world, where scientists are demonstrating that hope itself has measurable biological effects. If this gentle exploration of mind-body healing helps you unwind, a soft like or subscription allows other restless minds to discover this space. It takes only a moment, and it helps this growing circle of awareness expand. We're grateful for your presence here, one calm breath at a time. For now, let your shoulders soften. Let your breathing settle into its natural rhythm. Imagine floating in a quiet inner landscape where thoughts become signals of repair, where peaceful awareness becomes the most subtle form of medicine. If you're ready, let's begin this quiet journey into the science of how healing truly begins within the mind. Imagine yourself as part of a continuous stream of consciousness, where thoughts arise and dissolve like waves across open water. No urgency, no destination, only awareness meeting awareness. Release the need to control the current. Let your mind drift into the spacious field where healing and perception intertwine. Your thoughts can measurably influence your immune system within minutes. Emerging research from 2024 suggests that when individuals engage in guided meditation or positive visualization, immune cells begin altering patterns of protein expression almost immediately. Scientists at Columbia University have demonstrated that the brain communicates directly with immune cells through defined neural pathways, sending chemical messengers that can either amplify inflammation or initiate restorative processes. This is not abstract philosophy. It is measurable biochemistry. When you cultivate calm mental states, the body interprets those states as biological instructions. Neural activity translates into hormonal signals. Hormonal signals shape immune behavior. Mental stillness becomes physical regulation. The mind, it seems, speaks fluently in the language of cells. But before we explore that mechanism, there is something even more surprising happening inside you. Something that explains why a single breath can begin changing inflammation in real time. We'll come back to it in just a moment. There is a remarkable structure in your body known as the vagus nerve, a vast communication highway linking your brain to your heart, lungs, digestive system, and immune organs. Research in 2024 continues to highlight its central role in mind-body healing. When you feel safe, steady, or emotionally supported, the vagus nerve carries that internal state directly to your organs, influencing heart rate, digestion, inflammation, and immune readiness. Scientists describe part of this mechanism as the inflammatory reflex, the brain's capacity to modulate immune activity through neural signaling. Each slow, intentional breath activates this pathway. Each moment of genuine calm reinforces an ancient biological system designed for self-repair. Your ancestors relied on it. You still do. The scientific field examining these connections is called psychoneuroimmunology, a discipline uniting psychology, neuroscience, and immunology into a cohesive framework. Its findings are quietly reshaping medicine. Chronic stress has been shown to elevate cortisol levels that suppress immune efficiency. In contrast, sustained positive emotional states enhance immune responsiveness and resilience. Studies published in 2024 indicate that individuals practicing consistent mindfulness demonstrate stronger immune responses to vaccination and improved recovery times following illness. The implications are profound. Your mental state does not simply color your experience of health. It actively influences biological vulnerability and resilience. When stress becomes chronic, cortisol can remain elevated for extended periods, interfering with tissue repair, sleep quality, and immune precision. Yet here's the remarkable discovery. Deliberate shifts into calm states through meditation, deep breathing, slow movement, or focused awareness can measurably reduce cortisol levels in as little as 20 minutes. Advanced neuroimaging studies reveal that the prefrontal cortex, the region associated with conscious regulation and awareness, can modulate stress signals originating from deeper, more reactive brain centers. In practical terms, this means healing is not entirely passive. It is participatory. The quality of your attention, the tone of your internal dialogue, and the patterns of your awareness become variables in your biological equation. Healing, then, is not merely something that happens to the body. It is something the mind continuously helps shape. If this perspective is expanding the way you see your own body, take a quiet second to like this video and subscribe. It helps this kind of science reach more minds that may need to hear it tonight. And if something here resonates with you, share your thoughts below. I read every comment. Your immune system carries something extraordinary that scientists refer to as memory, and positive experiences can refine that memory in meaningful ways. Research emerging in 2024 suggests that practices such as loving-kindness meditation and deliberate acts of compassion enhance immune responsiveness over time. Immune cells appear to adapt not only to pathogens, but to patterns of internal emotional states. This form of immune memory extends beyond recognizing viruses or bacteria. It governs the delicate equilibrium between protection and inflammation. Too little response leaves the body vulnerable. Too much response generates chronic inflammation. The tone of your inner world, how gently you speak to yourself, how consistently you cultivate emotional steadiness, appears to influence this balance. Compassion, repeated over time, becomes biologically encoded, shaping the intelligence of your body's defenses like a subtle architectural plan for resilience. Sleep is where much of this mind-body repair deepens. During the slow-wave stages of sleep, the brain activates the glymphatic system, clearing metabolic waste and accumulated toxins. At the same time, growth hormone and restorative compounds are released throughout the body, supporting tissue repair and immune recalibration. The quality of your thoughts before sleep significantly influences this process. Studies indicate that individuals who engage in gratitude reflection or calm mental rehearsal before bed experience more restorative sleep cycles and improved immune markers. Your final thoughts of the day do not simply fade into darkness. They set the biochemical tone for overnight restoration. This quiet space we are sharing now may be one of the most therapeutic rituals available to you. And in a few minutes, we'll arrive at one of the most misunderstood phenomena in medicine, a discovery that proves belief alone can alter measurable biology. The placebo effect, once minimized as an illusion, is now recognized as one of the most compelling demonstrations of mind-body influence. When a person believes they are receiving effective treatment, the brain releases measurable healing substances, endorphins, dopamine, and natural anti-inflammatory mediators. Brain imaging studies show that placebo responses activate neural circuits nearly identical to those engaged by pharmacological interventions. This does not make the effect imaginary. It makes it profound. Expectation, belief, and hope operate as biological variables. The body responds to meaning. When the mind anticipates improvement, physiology often begins aligning in that direction. Your heart itself contains approximately 40,000 specialized neurons, so many that researchers sometimes refer to it as a functional little brain. This intrinsic cardiac nervous system communicates continuously with the brain, sending more signals upward than it receives downward. When you experience emotions such as gratitude, compassion, or calm appreciation, your heart rhythm shifts into a pattern known as coherence. Heart coherence enhances neural processing efficiency, stabilizes stress responses, and optimizes immune regulation. The idea of healing from the heart is not merely poetic. It reflects measurable physiology. The heart is not only a pump, it is an active neurobiological partner in your overall wellness. Meditation reshapes the brain itself. Neuroplasticity research in 2024 confirms that as little as 8 weeks of consistent mindfulness practice increases cortical thickness in the prefrontal regions associated with awareness, regulation, and executive function. Simultaneously, the amygdala, the brain's fear processing center, shows measurable reductions in activity and even structural volume. These changes are not fleeting. They represent durable remodeling of neural architecture. Regions responsible for empathy, emotional regulation, and resilience expand in connectivity and density. Regions associated with chronic reactivity diminish. Over time, healing capacity becomes embedded within the physical structure of your brain. The gut-brain axis further illustrates this intricate integration. The digestive system contains over 500 million neurons and produces approximately 90% of the body's serotonin, a neurotransmitter essential for mood stability and immune modulation. This complex enteric nervous system operates semi-independently, yet remains intimately connected to the brain through the vagus nerve. Stress can disrupt this bidirectional communication, influencing digestion, inflammation, and emotional clarity. Conversely, states of calm help synchronize gut and brain activity, stabilizing mood and enhancing immune precision. The sensation of butterflies in your stomach during emotional moments reflects this conversation. Your nervous system's coordinating how to respond to your internal experience. Touch is another direct gateway into healing physiology. Gentle, supportive contact stimulates the release of oxytocin, often referred to as the bonding or healing hormone. Oxytocin lowers blood pressure, reduces inflammatory signaling, and supports tissue repair. Even self-directed touch, placing a hand over your heart during a quiet moment, can activate similar regulatory pathways. Across cultures and centuries, healing traditions have incorporated compassionate touch. Modern research now clarifies why. The skin is not merely a protective layer, it is an active sensory organ, translating physical reassurance into measurable biochemical change. Visualization and guided imagery offer yet another dimension of influence. Elite athletes have long used mental rehearsal to enhance performance, demonstrating that imagined movement activates many of the same neural circuits as physical practice. Contemporary studies extend this principle into healing contexts. When individuals vividly imagine immune cells responding effectively to illness, measurable shifts in immune markers have been observed. Pain perception can also decrease when patients visualize repair occurring at the cellular level. The body responds to internally generated imagery as if it were partially real, adjusting physiology accordingly. Your imagination is not idle fantasy. It is a regulatory instrument capable of shaping neural firing patterns, hormonal release, and immune coordination. In subtle but measurable ways, the pictures you hold within your mind can influence the processes unfolding within your cells. This is not mind over matter. It is mind with matter, a dynamic partnership revealing that consciousness and biology are interwoven far more intimately than science once imagined. Your thoughts are not floating abstractions detached from flesh and blood. They are signals, instructions, patterns of electrical and chemical activity shaping the terrain of your physiology in real time. Laughter offers one of the clearest demonstrations of this integration. When you laugh, genuinely, freely, your brain releases endorphins and other restorative neurochemicals while simultaneously lowering circulating stress hormones. Research shows that even the anticipation of laughter can enhance immune responsiveness. The mere expectation of joy begins shifting your internal chemistry. Your sense of humor is not trivial entertainment. It is an evolutionary adaptation preserved because it supports resilience. The lightness you feel when something truly amuses you reflects your nervous system transitioning into parasympathetic balance, a state where repair, digestion, and immune optimization thrive. Joy is not distraction. It is biological recalibration. Music operates with similar potency. Therapeutic sound can synchronize brainwaves and stabilize heart rhythms, fostering coherence across multiple physiological systems. Certain frequencies and rhythmic patterns stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, decrease perceived pain, and may even influence gene expression linked to inflammation and stress regulation. Sound is not merely heard, it is felt. Vibrations travel through tissue, subtly shaping muscular tension, hormonal release, and neural firing patterns. The tones surrounding you, even softly in the background, can encourage your body to shift toward restoration. Every auditory environment carries either a stress-inducing or healing signature depending on its quality and intention. Human connection remains one of the most powerful modulators of immune function. Chronic loneliness has been shown to suppress immune efficiency, while perceived social support strengthens it. The warmth experienced when you feel understood or valued corresponds with measurable reductions in stress hormones and enhancements in immune coordination. Even mediated connection, listening to a steady, reassuring voice in the quiet of night, can activate some of the same regulatory circuits engaged by physical presence. Your nervous system responds to cues of safety, familiarity, and belonging. Healing capacity expands when connection deepens. Isolation contracts it. Breathing serves as a direct bridge between conscious awareness and autonomic regulation. It is the rare physiological process that operates automatically, yet remains voluntarily accessible. When you slow and deepen your breath, you stimulate the vagus nerve, shifting your system away from sympathetic stress activation and into parasympathetic repair mode. Each elongated exhale gently lowers heart rate, reduces cortisol output, and recalibrates inflammatory balance. The breath you are taking right now is not only sustaining life, it is offering you immediate access to healing pathways embedded in your biology. Conscious breathing is a manual override for stress physiology. Gratitude extends this influence to the level of gene expression. Emerging research indicates that regular gratitude practices are associated with reduced inflammatory gene activation and increased production of proteins involved in immune resilience. When individuals consistently focus attention on appreciation, measurable shifts occur in cellular signaling. Appreciation is not passive optimism. It is molecular instruction. The act of identifying goodness, even in small forms, communicates safety to the nervous system. Safety reduces defensive inflammation. In this way, gratitude becomes a form of internal medicine, written into the language of your genes. Time spent in nature, often referred to as forest bathing, demonstrates similarly profound effects. Trees release airborne compounds known as phytoncides. When inhaled, these substances increase the activity of natural killer cells, immune agents responsible for targeting viral infections and abnormal cellular growth. Immersion in natural environments measurably enhances immune vigilance. Even visualizing yourself in a serene natural setting can trigger partial activation of these restorative pathways. Your body evolved in intimate dialogue with forests, oceans, and open skies. That evolutionary memory remains encoded within your physiology. Connection to nature is not merely aesthetic or spiritual, it is immunological. The timing of your healing intentions also matters. Immune activity follows circadian rhythms, with certain repair processes intensifying during evening and nighttime hours. As your body transitions toward rest, it reallocates energy toward cellular repair, toxin clearance, and immune recalibration. Engaging in calming, restorative practices during this window aligns your conscious intention with your biological schedule. Listening now, as your physiology prepares for sleep, synchronizes mental focus with your body's innate repair cycles. Alignment enhances efficiency. Forgiveness introduces yet another measurable influence. Persistent anger and resentment sustain elevated stress responses, maintaining inflammatory signaling and cardiovascular strain. Forgiveness, whether directed toward others or yourself, reduces these physiological burdens. Forgiveness does not require excusing harmful behavior. It requires releasing the internal stress response tied to it. When you relinquish chronic resentment, your nervous system shifts out of defensive posture. Blood pressure stabilizes. Immune regulation improves. Peace at the psychological level becomes peace at the cellular level. Finally, your beliefs about aging and illness shape biological outcomes more than once assumed. Studies reveal that individuals who perceive aging as a period of continued growth and adaptation exhibit slower markers of cellular aging and more favorable health trajectories compared to those who internalize decline as inevitable. Mindset influences behavior, stress response, and gene expression simultaneously. When you view your body as adaptable and capable of renewal, your physiology tends to follow that narrative. Expectations become biochemical patterns. Belief becomes instruction. Your thoughts, emotions, and perceptions are not abstract experiences occurring in isolation. They are woven into the architecture of your immune system, your nervous system, your genetic expression. Mind and body are not separate realms negotiating with each other. They are one continuous field of living intelligence responding to the quality of your awareness. The hope and possibility you hold for your own healing are not fragile wishes floating in abstraction. They are biological signals. When you genuinely believe that recovery is possible, your brain begins coordinating the internal conditions that make that recovery more likely. Expectation alters chemistry. Possibility reorganizes physiology. Compassion meditation offers a powerful example. Studies show that when you practice directing loving, benevolent thoughts toward yourself and others, activity increases in brain regions responsible for empathy, emotional regulation, and resilience. At the same time, markers of immune strength improve. This is not symbolic. It is measurable. When you generate warmth in your mind, neural circuits associated with safety and connection become more active. Stress pathways quiet. Inflammatory signaling decreases. The love you cultivate internally translates into coordinated biological shifts. Kindness is not just an emotion, it is a neurochemical event that supports systemic balance. Your microbiome, the vast ecosystem of beneficial bacteria living within your digestive tract, responds directly to your emotional environment. Trillions of microorganisms collaborate with your immune system, metabolism, and even your mood regulation. Their composition shifts depending on your stress levels and habitual thought patterns. Periods of chronic anxiety and psychological strain can disrupt microbial diversity, encouraging the growth of inflammatory strains. In contrast, calm states and positive emotional regulation support a balanced microbiome, enhancing digestion and immune efficiency. Your inner narrative becomes an ecological force, shaping the microscopic allies that sustain your health. Spiritual practices, whether structured prayer, contemplative reflection, or a felt sense of connection to something greater, activate neural networks associated with regulation and coherence. Brain imaging studies show that experiences of transcendence or surrender engage regions involved in emotional stability and stress reduction. It does not matter what language you use: God, universe, life itself. The felt experience of connection reduces isolation and modulates cortisol levels. Your spiritual orientation, however you define it, becomes biologically relevant, meaning regulates physiology. Reverence stabilizes chemistry. Mirror neurons deepen this interconnectedness. These specialized brain cells fire not only when you perform an action, but also when you observe someone else performing it. Watching another person engage in healing behaviors, or even imagining recovery, activates similar neural pathways within you. When you witness resilience or visualize restoration, your brain rehearses those states internally. Empathy becomes participatory. The compassion you feel for others' suffering and the hope you feel for their healing subtly primes your own nervous and immune systems. Shared humanity becomes shared regulation. Pause for a moment. Notice your body as you exhale slowly. Beneath conscious awareness, trillions of cells coordinate seamlessly. Your heart contracts rhythmically. Your lungs expand and release. Neurons fire in precise electrical symphonies. None of this requires command. You are an ecosystem, self-regulating, adaptive, ancient. Each cell carries evolutionary memory shaped across millions of years. And even now, your physiology responds to the tone of your awareness. Peace communicates safety. Safety permits repair. Your nervous system continuously scans for cues of threat or protection. This process, often unconscious, directly influences immune allocation. When your brain perceives danger, resources shift toward vigilance. Muscle tension increases, digestion slows, inflammatory readiness rises. When your brain perceives safety, energy reallocates toward restoration. Cellular repair accelerates, immune modulation stabilizes, and hormonal balance improves. The calm environment you inhabit right now, steady words, gentle pacing, serves as a signal. It tells your system there is no immediate threat. In that signal lies permission to heal. Neuroplasticity ensures that this process is not static. Your brain remains capable of structural change throughout life. Positive emotions, such as hope, curiosity, and wonder, stimulate the formation of new neural connections. Each time you engage in reflective learning or mindful awareness, you strengthen pathways that support resilience. Right now, as you absorb these ideas, your neural architecture subtly reorganizes. New associations form between calm and cognition, between awareness and bodily regulation. Healing becomes embedded not as a concept, but as circuitry. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, further illustrates this integration. Released during experiences of trust, affection, and connection, oxytocin exerts measurable anti-inflammatory effects. It promotes wound repair, stabilizes cardiovascular function, and enhances immune coordination. The warmth you feel when genuinely cared for is not sentimental illusion. It is endocrine signaling. Love triggers biochemical cascades that improve tissue recovery and reduce stress burden. Emotional connection becomes pharmacology generated from within. Movement practices such as yoga integrate breath, posture, and focused awareness in ways that directly stimulate parasympathetic activation. Gentle stretching improves lymphatic circulation, aiding immune surveillance and toxin clearance. Coordinated breathing lowers sympathetic arousal while enhancing vagal tone. If you've made it this far, you're part of a small group choosing depth over distraction. Consider subscribing so you don't miss future explorations like this. And tell me in the comments, what part of your body do you feel most connected to right now? In this integrated state, mind and motion align. Muscles release tension. Hormones recalibrate. Awareness steadies. The result is not merely flexibility of body, but flexibility of nervous system. At the cellular level, receptors for neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine are distributed throughout your tissues. This means your entire body is capable of responding to emotional states. Joy, contentment, and calm are not confined to the skull. They echo through organs, glands, and immune cells. Your emotional climate becomes your cellular climate. Mood influences digestion, inflammation, and immune readiness. Psychological states are translated into molecular patterns that either support equilibrium or sustain imbalance. Chronic stress provides a sobering counterexample. prolonged exposure to elevated cortisol has been shown to shrink the hippocampus, the brain region critical for memory consolidation and learning. Stress narrows cognition and impairs adaptive capacity. Yet the same neuroplastic principles that make stress harmful also make healing possible. Positive regulation, consistent mindfulness, and emotional resilience can protect and even restore hippocampal integrity over time. The brain remains dynamic. The system remains responsive. Your biology is not fixed. It listens, adapts, recalibrates. Hope alters hormone release. Compassion refines immune response. Connection stabilizes inflammation. Movement integrates regulation. And awareness, steady, intentional awareness, becomes the thread weaving it all together. Mind and body are not separate domains negotiating influence. They are a single, responsive network shaped continuously by the quality of your thoughts, emotions, and attention. In every quiet breath, in every intentional moment of peace, you are participating in the architecture of your own healing. Meditation and other restorative practices do more than calm the surface of your thoughts. They create measurable structural change within the brain itself. Research shows that regions affected by prolonged stress, particularly the hippocampus, can regain volume and functional strength when supported by consistent mindfulness, emotional regulation, and inner stability. Your brain is not fragile glass. It is adaptive tissue. Even after periods of chronic strain, renewal remains possible. Neural pathways reorganize. Synaptic connections strengthen. What stress once diminished, sustained peace can gradually rebuild. Within your body lives another remarkable intelligence, the enteric nervous system in your gut. Containing more neurons than the spinal cord and operating with significant independence from the brain, this second brain continuously communicates with your central nervous system. It produces neurotransmitters, regulates digestion, and influences immune signaling. When you sense a gut feeling, you are not imagining insight. You are perceiving signals from a distributed neural network responding to your emotional state. Anxiety tightens it. Calm harmonizes it. Emotional balance stabilizes this internal dialogue. Ancient healing systems, such as acupuncture, are increasingly understood through the lens of modern neurobiology. Stimulation of specific points along the body appears to influence the vagus nerve and other neural pathways that regulate inflammation, endorphin release, and autonomic balance. What was once described symbolically is now mapped physiologically. These practices activate measurable anti-inflammatory mechanisms and modulate pain perception. The bridge between tradition and science is narrowing. Your immune system also follows rhythmic patterns aligned with sleep architecture. During deep, slow-wave sleep, immune surveillance intensifies. Growth hormone is released. Tissue repair accelerates. The body shifts from vigilance to restoration. The mental atmosphere you cultivate before sleep influences how effectively this repair unfolds. When your thoughts are gentle, reflective, and grounded, your nervous system transitions more smoothly into restorative states. Emotional quiet becomes biological preparation. Emotions are never confined to the mind. Each emotional state corresponds with shifts in heart rate, breathing rhythm, muscle tone, and immune signaling. Fear tightens, anger accelerates, peace slows and stabilizes. When you intentionally cultivate calm, you alter the chemical environment bathing your cells. Neurotransmitters, hormones, and inflammatory mediators shift accordingly. Emotional self-care is not indulgence. It is preventative physiology. Loving-kindness meditation has even been associated with lengthened telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of chromosomes linked to cellular aging. Telomeres typically shorten over time, yet practices rooted in compassion and positive connection appear to buffer this process. The kindness you extend inward and outward does not vanish into abstraction. It touches molecular structures. Compassion influences DNA stability. Your internal posture toward life echoes at the genetic level. Your brain also produces endogenous opioids, natural morphine-like compounds, through the endorphin system. Laughter, music, movement, and genuine joy stimulate their release. These substances reduce pain perception, elevate mood, and support immune coordination. Joy is not superficial brightness. It is pharmacology generated within neural tissue. The body carries its own pharmacy, activated by positive states of being. Inflammation, though essential for healing injury and combating infection, becomes destructive when chronically triggered by psychological stress. Persistent rumination and unresolved tension keep inflammatory pathways unnecessarily engaged. Mindfulness practices recalibrate this response. By grounding awareness in the present, they reduce excessive activation while preserving the immune system's ability to respond to real threats. Regulation replaces overreaction. Balance replaces chronic alertness. Heart rate variability, the subtle variation in time between heartbeats, serves as a powerful marker of nervous system flexibility. Higher variability reflects adaptive resilience and healthy parasympathetic tone. Practices such as slow breathing, meditation, and gratitude exercises increase heart rate variability. As rhythm stabilizes, coordination between brain and heart improves. The harmony of your internal timing mirrors the harmony of your awareness. Within the brain, the default mode network becomes active when you are not focused on specific tasks. Left unchecked, it can fuel rumination and self-referential stress. Guided gently, it can support insight and peaceful reflection. Mindfulness reshapes how this network operates. Rather than looping through worry, it learns to rest in observation. The quality of your unfocused moments quietly influences your long-term emotional and physiological state. If you are still here, thoughts flickering like distant candlelight, simply observe. No correction, no judgment, just awareness noticing itself. This awareness, the silent presence registering sensation and sound, is not separate from healing. Focused attention reduces stress signaling. Conscious presence stabilizes neural firing patterns. The act of attentive observation initiates regulation. Awareness itself participates in restoration. Epigenetics further deepens this understanding. Genes are not static commands. They are responsive scripts influenced by environment and behavior. Stress can activate inflammatory gene expression. Peaceful states can activate genes associated with resilience and cellular repair. You are not merely inheriting biology. You are interacting with it. Your thoughts and emotional patterns influence which genetic instructions are emphasized and which remain dormant. The parasympathetic nervous system governs rest, digestion, and tissue repair. Slow, rhythmic practices, gentle breathing, soothing sound, reflective stillness, activate this system. When engaged, energy shifts away from defense and toward regeneration. In this state, digestion improves, immune coordination stabilizes, hormonal balance recalibrates. The The body invests in rebuilding rather than bracing. Visualization has also been shown to influence immune-related gene expression. When individuals imagine their immune cells efficiently defending their health, measurable changes occur in immune activity markers. This is not fantasy overriding physiology. It is imagery guiding neural pathways that interface with immune signaling. Thought becomes instruction. Intention becomes modulation. Across all these mechanisms, a consistent principle emerges. Consciousness and biology are intertwined. Your mental landscape shapes hormonal cascades, immune readiness, genetic expression, and neural architecture. Healing does not occur in isolation from awareness. It unfolds within it. And with each calm breath, each deliberate shift toward steadiness, you are not passively waiting for recovery. You are participating in it. Your imagination is not a passive daydream drifting through empty space. It is a regulatory instrument capable of transmitting intention to your physiology. When you vividly picture healing, safety, or balance, neural circuits activate as if those experiences were partially real. Signals cascade through endocrine and immune pathways, subtly adjusting internal chemistry. The neurotransmitter GABA, central to calm and emotional stability, is produced not only in the brain, but also within the gut. Practices that quiet the mind, slow breathing, meditation, compassionate reflection, support the production and regulation of this inhibitory chemical throughout the body. As GABA activity increases, neural excitability decreases, muscles soften, heart rhythms stabilize. A system-wide sense of tranquility begins to emerge. Your biology also follows rhythmic cycles known as biorhythms. Evening hours, when melatonin begins to rise and cortisol naturally falls, create fertile conditions for restoration. During these windows, tissues repair more efficiently, and immune coordination improves. When you align calming practices with these natural cycles, you amplify what your body is already prepared to do. Healing becomes synchronized rather than forced. The vagus nerve, a central conduit between brain and body, responds strongly to vibration. Humming, singing, chanting, and even extended exhalations stimulate this pathway. Vibrations in the throat and chest mechanically influence nerve fibers that regulate inflammation and parasympathetic tone. The gentle resonance of your breath during meditation is not symbolic. It is neurological stimulation, guiding your body toward regulation. Chronic pain often involves functional and structural shifts in brain regions that process sensation. Yet neuroplasticity offers possibility. Mindfulness practices retrain how attention interacts with pain signals. Instead of amplifying discomfort through fear and anticipation, awareness can soften neural amplification loops. Over time, altered activation patterns in the brain reduce perceived intensity. Long-standing pain conditions can shift when perception and physiology are retrained together. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field measurable several feet beyond your body. This field changes depending on emotional state. When emotions are chaotic, the pattern becomes irregular. When emotions are coherent, such as gratitude or compassion, the pattern stabilizes into rhythmic harmony. Cells throughout the body are sensitive to these electromagnetic signals. Emotional coherence quite literally tunes your internal environment. If this moment brought you even a small sense of calm, leave a like so more people can find this space. And if you're willing, write one word in the comments that represents what you're feeling right now. I'd love to see it. Body scanning practices, which involve gently bringing attention to different regions of the body. Enhance interoceptive awareness, the ability to sense internal states. Increased interoception improves early detection of imbalance and strengthens autonomic regulation. As awareness refines, immune and inflammatory responses become more proportionate and less reactive. Attention becomes a diagnostic ally. Helping others activates neural reward pathways associated with dopamine and oxytocin release. This phenomenon, sometimes called the helper's high, produces measurable reductions in stress hormones and improvements in immune markers. Giving care and receiving care engage overlapping circuitry. Altruism is biologically reciprocal. The act of support strengthens both participants. We have traveled halfway through this exploration, and soon we'll uncover one of the most fascinating mechanisms of all: how your genes themselves respond to emotional tone. In this quiet midpoint, notice the rhythm of your breath. Time, in this moment, feels personal, an unfolding stream that belongs uniquely to you. Healing does not obey urgency. It follows its own cadence. Yet peace begins exactly where you are, breathing, listening, allowing. Microglia, the immune cells of the brain, respond not only to infection or injury, but also to emotional climate. Chronic stress keeps these cells in an activated, inflammatory state that can interfere with memory and learning. Calm practices signal safety, allowing microglia to return to protective maintenance roles. Emotional regulation directly supports cognitive clarity. The gut microbiome shifts rapidly in response to stress or relaxation. Within hours, changes in emotional state influence which bacterial populations flourish. Calm and contentment promote microbial diversity associated with digestive strength and immune resilience. Your inner emotional environment becomes the terrain on which trillions of microorganisms live and adapt. Coherent breathing, approximately 5 slow breaths per minute, synchronizes heart rhythms, brain activity, and autonomic balance. This rhythm enhances heart rate variability and optimizes parasympathetic engagement. The body enters a coordinated state where systems operate in alignment rather than fragmentation. Breath becomes conductor of a biological orchestra. Melatonin, essential for sleep and immune regulation, is influenced by emotional tone during evening hours. Peaceful, grateful reflection supports its release. Persistent anxiety disrupts its natural rise. Your thoughts before rest shape the hormonal landscape guiding nighttime repair. Unlike blood circulation, the lymphatic system relies heavily on muscular movement and diaphragmatic breathing to flow effectively. Gentle stretching, slow walking, and deep breaths stimulate lymphatic drainage, clearing metabolic waste and supporting immune readiness. Mindful movement becomes internal cleansing. Cognitive behavioral techniques operate through the rewiring of neural pathways connecting thought, emotion, and bodily sensation. Because the brain remains plastic throughout life, shifts in interpretation and belief alter downstream physiological responses. Changing how you relate to symptoms can influence how those symptoms manifest. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, binds to receptors in nearly every tissue, including immune cells. When chronically elevated, it suppresses immune coordination and delays healing. Practices that foster inner calm regulate cortisol output, restoring balance between vigilance and recovery. Aromatherapy engages direct neural pathways linking the olfactory system to limbic structures responsible for emotion and autonomic regulation. Scent bypasses rational filtering and influences physiology rapidly. Certain aromas can reduce sympathetic activation, promote parasympathetic tone, and enhance emotional steadiness. Across all these mechanisms, one principle remains consistent. Your mental and emotional states are not abstract experiences detached from flesh. They are dynamic inputs shaping hormones, neural firing, immune signaling, microbial balance, and genetic expression. Healing is not imposed from outside alone. It is invited from within, breath by breath, thought by thought, rhythm by rhythm. Certain scents have the power to alter your nervous system within seconds, because the olfactory system connects directly to limbic regions of the brain, areas governing memory, emotion, and autonomic regulation. Specific aromas can rapidly shift you toward parasympathetic dominance. Calm breathing deepens, muscles soften, internal chemistry adjusts. Fragrance becomes a subtle neurological signal that safety is present. Progressive muscle relaxation functions as a form of neural re-education. By intentionally tensing and then releasing different muscle groups, you teach your nervous system to distinguish between contraction and ease. Chronic tension often operates below conscious awareness, quietly reinforcing stress physiology. When you repeatedly experience deliberate release, neural circuits begin to recalibrate. The body learns that relaxation is not weakness, it is regulation. As relaxation deepens, brainwave patterns naturally slow. Beta frequencies associated with analytical thinking gradually give way to alpha and theta, rhythms linked to creativity, integration, and healing states. These slower oscillations correlate with reduced cortisol, improved immune coordination, and enhanced tissue repair. Your brain is not static. It moves through frequencies that mirror your internal landscape. The autonomic nervous system is adaptive. It learns from repetition. Each time you practice calm breathing, gentle reflection, or mindful awareness, you reinforce neural pathways associated with safety. Over time, accessing peaceful states requires less effort. Regulation becomes more automatic. Every moment of intentional calm lays groundwork for future equilibrium. Interoception, your ability to sense internal signals such as heartbeat, breath rhythm, or subtle muscle tension, can be strengthened. Mindfulness refines this awareness, enhancing early detection of imbalance. When you recognize subtle cues sooner, your responses become more precise. Healing becomes proactive rather than reactive. Serotonin, vital for mood stability and emotional resilience, is produced predominantly in the gut. Digestive health and emotional health form a continuous feedback loop. When the gut is inflamed or imbalanced, mood often shifts. When emotional stress persists, digestion falters. Supporting one dimension supports the other. Balance in the abdomen reverberates in the mind. Healing imagery becomes more potent when fully embodied. When visualization includes not only sight, but also sound, texture, movement, and felt sensation, broader neural networks activate. Multisensory imagination recruits motor, sensory, and emotional circuits simultaneously. The body responds more robustly when the mind engages completely. When the parasympathetic nervous system is fully engaged, its effects extend beyond relaxation. Cellular repair accelerates. Tissue regeneration improves. Immune surveillance becomes more efficient. Rest is not passive absence. It is active biological restoration. Stillness contains intricate activity beneath the surface. Cold exposure, practiced gradually and mindfully, can stimulate adaptive stress responses that strengthen resilience. Brief, controlled challenges activate protective pathways that enhance immune responsiveness and metabolic flexibility. The body grows stronger, not only through comfort, but through measured adaptation. Self-compassion activates neural circuits associated with caregiving and attachment. Oxytocin rises. Inflammatory markers decrease. Being kind to yourself neurologically mirrors the experience of being cared for by another. Internal dialogue becomes physiological input. Rhythmic movement, walking, dancing, drumming, synchronizes neural firing patterns. Rhythm organizes the brain. Coordinated oscillations foster calm focus and emotional integration. The body instinctively seeks cadence. When you move with rhythm, systems align. The placebo response intensifies when care is delivered with warmth and authentic attention. Belief alone influences biology, but belief combined with human connection amplifies outcomes. Hope and relational presence operate together as therapeutic forces. Sunlight, even gentle morning exposure, conveys critical information to your physiology. It calibrates circadian rhythms, supports vitamin D synthesis, and influences mood-regulating neurotransmitters. Natural light is not merely illumination, it is biological instruction. Mindful eating, attending to hunger cues, texture, taste, and fullness, improves digestion and nutrient absorption. Awareness applied to nourishment reduces stress-related patterns and enhances metabolic efficiency. Presence transforms consumption into restoration. Fascia, the connective tissue web surrounding muscles and organs, contains dense sensory innervation. Emotional stress can manifest as fascial tension. Gentle stretching and mindful movement help release stored contraction, promoting systemic relaxation. Structure and emotion are intertwined. The gut-brain axis often responds to emotional shifts before conscious recognition arises. Subtle digestive sensations may signal stress or comfort ahead of cognitive awareness. The body's intelligence frequently precedes deliberate thought. Therapeutic touch and massage stimulate vagal pathways and promote release of oxytocin and endorphins. Contact is not merely soothing, it is neural communication between bodies. Co-regulation occurs through proximity and pressure. A sense of meaning profoundly influences physiological resilience. Individuals who perceive purpose in their lives demonstrate stronger immune markers and improved recovery rates. Significance shapes biology. When experience holds meaning, the body responds with a vitality. If fatigue is beginning to settle in, allow it. Breathe slowly. Notice the rhythm of your heart, the rise and fall of your lungs. Cells dividing, repairing, renewing without conscious command. Life unfolds in cycles, contraction and expansion, effort and release, waking and rest. Inhale, exhale. A small cycle within larger cycles, day and night, growth and decay, renewal and transformation. You are not separate from these patterns. You are woven into them. Healing follows rhythm, just as breath follows breath. And within that rhythm, restoration quietly continues. You don't need to grip this moment or control what comes next. Let everything unfold in its own precise sequence. Healing does not rush. It does not strain. It progresses quietly beneath awareness, guided by biological intelligence older than thought itself. We are nearing the end of this journey, but your body's renewal is continuous. Your cells are in constant replacement. Skin regenerates. Blood renews. even bone remodels. Within roughly 7 years, the majority of your body has been rebuilt at the cellular level. The version of you that heals today is not biologically identical to the one who once carried pain. Renewal is not poetic language. It is physiology. Regeneration is encoded into your structure. Healing is cyclical, not linear. Like sleep stages moving from light to deep and back again, like seasons shifting through growth and dormancy, your body repairs itself in waves. Progress may feel subtle, then profound, then quiet again. Honoring these rhythms, rather than demanding constant forward motion, supports recovery at the deepest levels. The heart generates the strongest measurable electromagnetic field in the body, extending beyond your skin. Emotional coherence, states like gratitude, compassion, and calm, create stable rhythmic patterns within this field. These patterns influence not only internal regulation, but also interpersonal connection. Your physiology resonates outward. Your nervous system is designed to return to equilibrium after stress. The difficulty in modern life is not exposure to challenge, but the absence of sufficient recovery. Peace is not foreign to your system. It is its baseline. Restoration is your default when given space. This channel is built slowly, breath by breath, with people like you. If you value content that blends science and awareness like this, subscribe and be part of this growing circle. Your support genuinely makes this possible. Laughter alters gene expression in ways that enhance immune surveillance and reduce inflammatory signaling. Joy becomes molecular instruction. It is not frivolous, it is regulatory. Gratitude increases activity in the hypothalamus, a region central to sleep cycles, hormonal balance, and metabolic regulation. Thankfulness influences systems simultaneously: neuroendocrine, immune, and autonomic. Appreciation is multidimensional medicine. Neurogenesis continues throughout life, especially within the hippocampus. Calm states encourage the growth of new neurons. Chronic stress inhibits it. Every moment of inner stillness contributes to cognitive renewal. Even a simple smile can stimulate endorphin release and modulate stress pathways. Facial muscles feed signals back to the brain, shaping emotional chemistry. Expression becomes instruction. During deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flows through neural pathways, clearing metabolic waste. This cleansing process supports clarity, emotional balance, and long-term brain health. Rest is neurological purification. Healing appears intertwined with broader natural cycles. Seasonal shifts, environmental light patterns, and even lunar rhythms subtly influence immune activity and hormonal balance. Your biology remains connected to planetary timing. Vagus nerve stimulation through humming, chanting, or singing measurably improves heart rate variability and immune coordination. Your voice is vibration. Vibration is regulation. Imagery that aligns with natural symbols: flowing water for circulation, warm light for vitality, gentle wind for breath, communicates effectively with unconscious processes. The mind often interprets nature as the language of restoration. DHEA, a hormone supporting tissue repair and immune resilience, rises during deep relaxation and positive emotional states. Joy nourishes at the endocrine level. As relaxation deepens, body temperature slightly decreases, conserving energy for internal repair. The cool softness you may feel is a sign of metabolic recalibration. Mirror neurons allow you to experience healing indirectly by observing or imagining it. Empathy activates similar neural circuits as direct experience, Witnessing restoration strengthens your own capacity for it. Mindful breathing can influence inflammatory gene expression within hours. Each intentional inhale and extended exhale carries regulatory impact. Breath is biochemical dialogue. Much of your healing intelligence operates below awareness, like a symphony playing beneath conscious thought. Trust in this orchestration reduces resistance and supports coordination between systems. Brain and heart rhythms can synchronize into coherent patterns, optimizing communication throughout the body. Inner harmony manifests as measurable physiological alignment. Healing often begins with acceptance, not surrender, but clear acknowledgement. When mental resistance softens, energy once spent on internal conflict becomes available for repair. Cells communicate through cytokines, chemical messengers guiding immune responses. Emotional states influence which signals predominate. Calm encourages balanced communication. Chronic stress amplifies inflammatory messaging. Emotion becomes molecular conversation. Directing loving attention toward specific areas of your body can alter blood flow and neural activation in those regions. Focus is not passive. Attention carries physiological consequence. You do not need to force any of this. Your body already understands renewal. With each breath, each quiet moment of awareness, you are participating in processes far more intricate and wise than conscious effort alone could design. Your attention is not abstract. It is measurable influence. Wherever awareness rests, neural firing patterns shift, blood flow changes, and biochemical signals follow. Your body registers focus as instruction. In this way, attention becomes a subtle but constant form of energy your physiology can interpret and respond to. During sleep, brief bursts of brain activity known as sleep spindles help consolidate learning, regulate emotion, and integrate memory. Your sleeping brain is not inactive. It is reorganizing experience, dissolving emotional charge, and strengthening adaptive pathways. Even in darkness, healing is deliberate. The healing response is never limited to tissue repair alone. It is holistic. It involves emotional processing, nervous system recalibration, and often a quiet sense of existential realignment. True restoration addresses the entirety of who you are, not just isolated symptoms. In a moment, we'll bring all of this together, and you may begin to sense why healing was never separate from awareness to begin with. Your biological wisdom extends back through millions of years of evolution. The inflammatory reflex, the relaxation response, the instinct to recover after stress. These are not modern inventions. They are ancient survival mechanisms refined across generations. The same intelligence that allowed your ancestors to endure adversity lives within you now. Healing begins in the mind, not because the mind dominates the body, but because they are inseparable expressions of one integrated system. Thought and tissue, awareness and chemistry, perception and immunity. These are interwoven aspects of a single living process. Consciousness and biology move together in continuous dialogue. And so, our quiet exploration of mind-body healing draws toward its natural close. We have moved from microscopic immune cells responding to thought, to neural networks coordinating breath and emotion, to the broader field of awareness that underlies every sensation. Along the way, we have seen that healing is not something passively received. It is something actively participated in. From the first conscious inhale that stimulates your vagus nerve to the final moments before sleep, when your system shifts into deep repair, The boundary between mind and body softens. Science increasingly reveals what intuition has long suggested. Consciousness and physiology are not separate territories, but dimensions of one seamless whole. The most profound healing often unfolds in silence, in pauses between thoughts, in the steady rhythm of breath, in the subtle synchronization of heart and brain. Wellness does not demand force. It emerges through alignment. Without this understanding, we might search endlessly for solutions outside ourselves. With it, we recognize that the quality of awareness we bring to each moment shapes the terrain in which healing occurs. Take now the deepest breath you comfortably can. Feel the expansion. Consider the possibility that awareness itself, yours, mine, every listener, exists within a larger web of connection we are only beginning to understand. You are not isolated within your experience. Every thought of restoration contributes to a wider field of renewal. Let your mind soften into that vastness. Let identity loosen. Let boundaries dissolve. There is nothing to accomplish here, nothing to prove, only rest. You have traveled deeply tonight, into biology, into consciousness, into the elegant mechanisms that sustain life. Now allow these ideas to fade gently, like mist lifting at dawn, leaving behind only calm. Let your breathing slow. Let your body grow heavier, supported as if resting on a cloud that holds you without effort. If sleep arrives, welcome it. It is the state in which your brain clears, your cells repair, your immune system recalibrates. Healing continues without supervision. If your eyes remain open, another exploration awaits you. But if they are closed, remain there. Stay within the warmth of darkness. Trust the intelligence that carries you through the night. Tomorrow, your biology will still renew. Your mind will still influence your well-being. But this moment belongs to rest. If tonight resonated with you in any way, I want you to know this space is being built intentionally. And you're early. We're at the very beginning, growing from 0 toward our first 1,000 subscribers. That number isn't about vanity. It's about proving that depth still matters in a noisy world. Every like, every comment, every subscription strengthens this signal and helps it reach someone who may need it more than we realize. If you feel aligned with this kind of content, consider becoming part of this first 1,000. There's something powerful about being here at the start. Thank you for helping build this from the ground up.